I've seen several people really struggle with AI while I've been running circles around them. The only difference is I knew how to use AI and other people did not. They don't understand where it's going and what it's going to do in the future. Everyone talks about AI like it's some tool you download and it's magical and it'll change your life right away. But that's not really what's going to happen with it. Um, what's happening is kind of a split, um, in my opinion, um, where some people are going to know how to use the tool and benefit from the tool, and some people are going to take the wrong path with it or not use it correctly, and it's really going to harm their career, life circumstance, I believe. AI literacy is the dividing line for social classes in the future. Just like how normal literacy back in the day was, it's going to turn into AI literacy. 40% of jobs globally are exposed to AI. And in high income countries like the US, it's even higher, it's 60%. Um, and as we know, the white collar market is rough, and AI coming into that is not going to make it nicer. So, to give you guys a little context about me and why I like AI, when I first got to college, I hate school. When I was in high school, I used to cheat. And so when I got to college, ChatGPT first came out, and that was like a whole new another level of being able to finish schoolwork really quick and like low-key cheating on school. But I began to think like, man, this thing's really good at school, but I'm only going to be in school for a couple more years. There has to be something for this in my career in whatever I'm going to do, right? There has to be a way to use this thing and benefit. It's not the it's not the tools that you use. It's the system that you create with the tools around your life and your workflows. And so another thing that I want to talk about is the idea that, obviously we can see white collar is going to take a hit with AI. It's going to drastically change the lives of the professional class here in America and around the world. Doctors, lawyers, engineers, all of them, they're going to really feel this change. Developers, all of that. Some people talk about like, okay, because of this shift, it's kind of going away. Go back into the trades, blue collar. And I can agree that that will be something that, for the next 20 years, maybe will be pretty lucrative. But, robots are coming. And you'd be surprised about how repetitive a lot of blue collar tasks are. Plumbing, construction, welding, very repetitive task, very similar task. There's not a lot of difference. And it's really the true throughout all the trades. The idea that, that you and your brain and your body are going to be able to outcompete the technology of the robot and the AI brain that are coming is wrong. You will never be able to compete with that. Yes, the trades will have a boom, and it'll be better than trying to go white collar, I think, in the next 20 years. But you're not really setting yourself up for career success right there. You're going to have to pivot. And another thing, gig work. In America, we have a lot of foreigners who have just came over here, and they do a lot of gig work, Uber, DoorDash, all of that. With autonomous cars coming, gig work's going to be gone. And not to mention that, whatever you lean politically, but a lot of these new people who came into America are going to have children. And, what are they going to do for work? There's already a shortage of jobs for high school kids and people coming out of college. And so we just added this huge population into America and invented this new tool that's going to completely wipe out the job market. The idea that blue collar is going to save you is wrong. What's going to save you is creating a system with AI that serves you in your career. If you do repetitive tasks, if you're a bookkeeper, if you're a welder, if you're anything that's repetitive, your job will be gone within the next 50 years. It's inevitable. Do not try to set your kids up to do it. Do not encourage people to go into repetitive things. The sad part of it is repetitive tasks are not difficult. That's why they're oftentimes lower paying. It's a lot of the middle class or the lower middle class. And those jobs are going to go away. Gig work's going to go away. That's a lot of the low class, the newer people in the country, or the ones who weren't as well off. And with gig work going away, and a lot of even like the middle class white collar jobs, it's going to be gone. AI really will turn America, in my opinion, into a very sharp two-class society. One side's going to be able to use AI and afford it and take advantage of the tool and basically have a bunch of workers for whatever it costs, the usage and whatever. And another side is going to not know how to use the tool. They're going to be AI illiterate, and they're not going to be able to get a job because they don't have a system with AI. They don't have the tools that these people have to compete in the new job market. And that's going to be a problem. If you're a business owner, right, and you can't adopt AI, that company that comes in there with AI may not get you within the first 5 years, maybe not even the 10, but over 10, 20, 30 years, you cannot compete if you don't have an AI system that you created. So I'm talking all this. How do we actually, what is this system? How do we use AI? And the way I would describe it is you find the tools that can help you the most for your daily schedule. So most people are not self-employed. I am, so I have to set my own schedule. But for example, let's say you're a teacher, okay? You wake up, let's say you like to check your stocks in the morning. So you use Claude Cowork and you have it pull up your stock report in the morning. And you're reading the news and you kind of understand. That's one part of your life that's automated. Now let's say you're a teacher. You're a fifth grade teacher and all these kids just wrote a paper and you got to grade them. That takes forever. Why not automate it? Why not build a system as a teacher, right? As a teacher, you know what your day-to-day job is going to be. Why not take the AI and implement it into what you're doing to get better results and not be replaceable? See, the guy who just knows how to use AI is replaceable because we've already seen it. AI has gone from where you have to text into a chat, right, to where you can write normal text into a chat and it can create code off of that, to now where you can just completely access all your files and completely manipulate your computer to your workflow. The people who are just using ChatGPT or using Claude or using Perplexity or Gemini or Grok, or they're not going more in depth, they're using it kind of like Google. You are the people who are going to have no job and be in that lower social class. There is no way you can compete if you only know how to use the tool and cannot build systems with those tools. So to close this video, I'm not here to fearmonger or say like, oh, learn AI or you're screwed, but I would argue the skill of AI is almost as important as the skill of being literate back in the day. If you look in the 1800s, 1900s, even the early 2000s, you could probably say, your literacy, your ability to speak and communicate was, and even back farther, knowing Latin, that put you in you're set. That gave you that competitive edge. it's the same today, but with AI. So you don't even know how, like, you still need to know how to speak well. That's the thing. The people who back in the day had that literacy advantage because they could speak well, they still have that, but with AI, because you have to speak to AI. You have to be able to articulate your thoughts and have it understand what you're doing. And you also have to be able to think and articulate out systems. And you have to be able to think. And so the idea that like you're just going to use the tool and be okay and make money off of it is not true. You you have to build systems and design systems with these tools. If you're not building with AI, I would just start today. Not tomorrow, but today. The gap already from the people who decided to start playing with AI in 2022 or 2023 when it first started coming out to now, the people who are just like, oh, okay, I'm going to be the late adopter on that marketing curve. The gap is so huge. Like, I would argue dealing with AI for these first 3 years, if you were an early adopter, gave you a 10-year advantage on everyone else who's coming in now or who came in 2025, 2026, or who's going to come in 2027 and start really playing with the tools, because you got to see the more primitive versions of AI, and you had to be creative to be able to use AI well, right? When ChatGPT 2 came out or whatever it was, it kind of sucked. You had to prompt it really well, and prompt and context really mattered. And you have to know how to do that. Those skills that it took to be good at using AI back in the day to be able to get the answers that you want and thinking through those problems directly will help those early adopters going forward, because they see the base on what it was built off of. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to keep making videos on how I use AI in my business and in my life, school, finances, stocks, and how I've already built 2 systems for my life. Recently, I kind of made a new one because new tools came out and I could improve. Um, but yeah, subscribe if you want to stay on the right side of it. I can make videos on what I use and how I do it, and yeah.